Gracias. Tiene la palabra.
Thank you. I give the floor to Advocates for Human Rights.
Mr. President, the Advocates for Human Rights and Mobilizing for Rights Associates thanks the Working Group for its report on the Universal Periodic Review of Tunisia. We commend Tunisia for its support of 28 recommendations on women's rights. We are concerned, however, that Tunisia noted 6 recommendations to amend the criminal code to decriminalize adultery or the personal status code to ensure the equal rights of women in marriage. We urge Tunisia to examine the recommendations on the ratification of the Council of Europe Convention on Preventing and Combating Violence Against Women and Domestic Violence, also known as the Istanbul Convention. Domestic and sexual violence against women and girls remain systemic in Tunisia. Changes in legislation, including amending the criminal and personal status codes, are crucial to increase the particularly low reporting of domestic violence. Article 236 of the Criminal Code criminalizes sex outside of marriage, disincentivizing victims from reporting sexual assault or domestic violence if they are not married to the perpetrator. Women and girls are particularly vulnerable in a criminal legal system that does not consider the context of gender-based violence, even when women are at risk of being sentenced to the death penalty. We commend Tunisia for passing progressive legislation such as the 2017 Act on Violence Against Women. However, the law requires further expansion and is still far from full implementation. In practice, victims of domestic violence face high evidentiary requirements, creating barriers when seeking divorce from their abusers. We welcome Spain, Sweden, Uruguay, and Mexico's recommendation that Tunisia ensure the full application of the 2017 Act on the Elimination of Violence Against Women. We call on Tunisia to amend the criminal and personal status codes provision to abolish criminal prosecutions for consensual sexual relations outside of marriage, provide adequate funding for women's NGOs, the domestic violence telephone hotline, counseling services for victims and shelters, support comprehensive prevention and educational programs in school and other community organizations to challenge the public attitude towards domestic violence, ratify without further delay the Istanbul Convention to guarantee a holistic, comprehensive state response to gender-based violence. Thank you.
Gracias.